Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Let's Play Path of Exile Part 3. As you can see, we're just going to pick right up where we left off the last time. I don't actually remember what we were doing, however. Let's press the quest button. Okay, so... Oh, we did not actually turn in that quest.
So you opened the tidal passage?
That I did, my friend, that I did. So, what do we actually have here? I've actually forgotten everything. Poison arrow, burning arrow, split arrow. Very well. Okay, so most of what we actually have here is not something we're... As you can see, we already have poison arrow. We don't have anything else that we're actually going to incorporate into our final build. But we will take Rain of Arrows to help with a little bit of the AoE. So throw that in there. And we have a spot for it. Very nice. Of course, let's change that because middle mouse button is useless. And just take that off. Okay, we're good to go. What quest were we doing? Ah yes, just continue on. Okay, so the next quest that we're going to do, as you can see here, is the Dweller of the Deep. Basically we go to this little cave here, kill off a mini boss sort of character. So teleport. Now one thing that people should know is that these maps do respawn, I believe, somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes, so if you don't oh shit, so if you don't stay in the map or you leave it for 10 to 15 minutes, it basically will reset. So we'll just have to quickly fire. Why do I have that set to 2? Always. No, you should be that one. That makes sense. Now, I'm actually going to skip a lot of this area due to the fact that we're pretty much ahead at the moment, so we'll just kill a few things quickly and make our way straight to the next part of the map. Hopefully I get it right on the first time and guess where the entrance actually is.
My mana is gone.
Apologies, mana. Ooh, there we go. Let's kill this guy. And easy. Oh, please let me be going the right way. Ooh, very nice. The one thing with the Rain of Arrows is that I think it consumes a lot more mana than most abilities, so although it is a nice ability, what have we got here? 12 mana cost. 10 mana cost, so it's a little bit more expensive. Definitely a lot more expensive than the poison arrow. So, and in we go. So if you remember from the last part, to get into this cave, you must collect the glyphs from the Roa's Nest around the mud flats. Take them to the wall and basically click on the part of the wall that the glyphs need to go into to unlock the entrance. As far as I'm aware, this particular cave is usually pretty straightforward, so you're not going to get lost too easily at this point of the game. Plus, as always, everything's relatively weak, so you can just zoom through pretty quickly. And very nice, we actually managed to find the waypoint relatively quickly. It is always this is another thing. Not only is clearing out the map for the experience pretty useful, but you always want to make sure that you find the waypoint as well, as it will make traveling around a lot easier in between quests. So that's another good reason to scope out the entire map. As you can see, we don't really need many abilities here. I'm just auto-attacking my way through. Just clear these out a little quicker. And, ooh, don't want to lose you. Once again, I've also managed to discover something that I probably should have discovered earlier by reading the hints and tips, and it actually has to do with the map, which I will show you in a second when I get out of combat. So when you press tab to bring up the map, now you can't use your mouse to see around, so sometimes you might miss areas, as you see here, that are sort of blacked out, and you know there might be something, but what about down in this bottom part of the map? You don't know. So how you do that is, if you use the arrow keys on your keyboard, you can move the map around, see the different areas that you might have missed. You see we've gotten everything here. This is probably closed off anyway, but oh, not the right button. And so that's pretty useful as well for looking around the map. As I said, if we probably had put some time into reading the hints and tips, we probably would have known that by now. So that is something useful for making sure that you don't miss any part of the map, like I said, for either killing for experience or finding those important waypoints. Oh, crustaceans. So this cave shouldn't be too complex, although it's not a one-path sort of cave. It's not that hard to work your way around. It's not that multi-layered as some of the later dungeons will actually be. This will actually take us into the area that we actually need to kill the mini-boss. But before we do that, we're just going to go ahead and clear out the rest of this, because there we go, that's what we need. As you can see, if you combine the poison arrow and the rain of arrows, things get cleared out relatively quickly. However, as we said, that will not actually become part of our final build, but it's good still for leveling, especially if you don't actually manage to pick up the gems that you need for the final build. Oh, nice, some blues. As you can see, even though they're blues, they really don't hit hard at all. So if you manage to die in this, on these quests, you may want to consider a different class, maybe even a different game. And nothing up here. Ooh. Okay, so this the other quest that we actually have, the way forward, is actually through this part. Obviously we're not going to go through there yet, but basically this, as you can see, this cave connects onto multiple quests. So we'll just leave that for there now. Hopefully, as we said, the dungeon does reset every every 10 to 15 minutes, so hopefully we can actually get the other quest done in that time, so that we can come straight back and go through there. Where are we? There you are. Whoops, dead end. And down we go. Sometimes in the beta there has been problems where these sort of glitch out and you can't get through them. Rather than logging out to fix it, you can just use your portal scroll and it will take you back to town, and when you come back it should actually correct itself. Obviously it's something that they will actually patch at some point in the game, but if you do come across that problem, don't log out, because it will send you back to town and you'll have to run all the way back here, so it's better to use a portal scroll. Alright, so dead end. And plenty of these guys around the kill. Very nice. Where did you go? There you are. Okay. Ooh, a very nice orb. We will possibly talk about the orbs in the next part of the series, so if you are collecting a lot of orbs at this point and you don't know what they mean, don't worry about that. We will actually go over them in the next part. A lot of the orbs you won't actually use until later in the game, at least level 40ish or so. I mean, there are some other orbs that are a lot easier to come by. Of course you can use them a lot more often if you want, but for those rare orbs you definitely want to keep until at least higher levels, as essentially they'll just be wasted at this point. But I'm not entirely sure how many orbs there are in total. Hopefully by that point we will actually have enough to talk about. Usually you get the most common ones that are to do with the sockets and properties. So we'll talk about those in the next part. Oh, don't forget to level up your gems. So here we are at the mini boss, I guess we should call it, and it's essentially just a giant crustacean. It doesn't particularly hit that hard. You should be able to just tank it up, pop potions, fire off a few abilities. Like all our crustaceans, it does have a two-part mode, so once you take off its shell, you just gotta finish it off. Come back, don't run. And there we go, easily. And a yellow item, which is useless. So, what we need to do is we actually need to return to base to turn in the quest, but before we actually do that, we'll just take a quick look around, make sure there's no rare mobs that we might have missed, and of course we'll head back towards the entrance, as that is the direction we're going to be heading for the next part of the quest. Run faster. Zoom zoom. I believe there was nothing in here. Nope. Okay, so we'll clear up this little area before we head back to that. Oh, nope, dead ends as well. Joy. Okay, I guess we're pretty much done here, so let's just head back out again. And now at this point you could teleport back to the town and then just come right back to the dungeon. But what we're going to do is hopefully there is a waypoint at the start of the next area. I don't particularly remember, but we shall find out, and that'll help save wasting a portal scroll. As you see, I am somewhat low on them, and upper submerged. I guess there may not be a waypoint. Okay, I guess we're just gonna have to portal back then. Okay, so portal back, turn in the quest, and we will head back then to continue. Sell the junk. Okay, and we're good.
You managed to kill Brandon?
Yes, I did. Okay, we got all that. Dump everything that you don't need into the... we'll put one of those in so we don't have that. We do actually have... It's I usually only keep one of each color gem in the bank. Just fender off the other one. And okay, see, as you can see here, we have a good few number of orbs and a lot of the basic ones, plus one or two of the more uncommon ones. So we'll talk about those in the next part. Okay, so before we continue, we probably should spend our 2 skill points. Where did we get to? Okay, so we're just going to continue along the line of the life and then into the dexterity. As you see, we'll probably go more into the life on this side, as this technically, even though we are, as I said, in default league, we will build it towards a sort of hardcore league setting so that you can see what is required to survive through hardcore. Nothing important. So as you can see here, this particular part of the cave starts to get a little bit more complex. Still not that difficult. You will find your way around pretty quickly, so you'll find the exit in no time. Okay, we've also been thinking that rather than continue this on to the higher levels, what we're actually going to do is that we'll play this game through once on the normal difficulty, and then we'll actually continue on to start a new game with the other classes, basically to show you how each particular class works, because not everyone's obviously going to want to play a ranger. So in the upcoming videos we will actually be showing the other classes. So if you prefer to play a Marauder or a Shadow, fear not, we actually will be covering that in the series. We just decided to go with the Ranger first, as that was something that we already have been playing in the Hardcore League, and it was just easier to sort of start off with that. So here we are. That is the next part of the quest. We're just going to quickly run around, check for chests, any rare mobs. As you can see here, if we pop that open, we're level 8, and this is a level 6 area, so technically we're 2 levels ahead of the area, so it's not that important that we farm everything. As I said, it's always good to stay at roughly 1 level ahead. If you want to farm more and get a few levels ahead, then feel free to do so. Of course, it will slow down the speed at which you progress through the game, but overall it's not going to be that much of a problem. Okay, so we basically come full circle back around to the start. And there's a chest. Okay, not important. So let's head on to the next part. Quickest way, this way. As you can see, there's some areas in the bottom right that we didn't discover, but it's not particularly that important. So we're just going to skip ahead and head our way out. And out to the ledge. And once again, skeletons are relatively slow, not that strong, so... But there is, however, a lot on the ledge, so... Can take a little time to just go through all of them, especially on the higher difficulties like Cruel and Merciless. This obviously will take a little bit more time, as it requires a lot more skill. One of the misconceptions of this game is that people play through on the normal mode and think, oh, well, this was easy. But it all sort of changes in Cruel. Even in Act 2 of normal mode, the difficulty picks up just a little bit. Still nothing that's overly taxing. But as we said, in Cruel, the difficulty will pick up quite a bit compared to what it is in normal. And then of course in Merciless, there's a relatively big jump again as well, but that's something we'll cover in a later part of the series. Come on, hit the guy. One of my favorite things about the Ranger is how far you can actually engage mobs. You can actually kill a lot of them off pretty quickly before they even get close to you. One thing that players should actually do, if you can, particularly in dungeons, in places like this where it's a sort of direct one-line path, you can't really do so, but if you're in a dungeon, one of the best things to do is try and work your way around the dungeon in the bottom part of the map and work your way up. The reason for that is you can see the top part of the screen a lot better than you can see the bottom. So if there was a horde of mobs at the bottom, you're not going to see it particularly too well. So you want to work your way around the dungeon in the bottom part of the map first. Of course, sometimes you don't always have that choice, and you'll be forced to start at the top. But whenever you have the chance, it's always good to begin at the bottom, just because of the vision. Not only because you're a ranger, melees will want to do it too, because you don't want to walk into a room that's full of elites, basically just face checking it and causing you death. It's more for the vision and knowing what you have to prepare for, rather than the actual fight itself. One thing that people will notice is that it seems that there's a much better loot drop rate in the hardcore league. The blues and yellows in particular seem to drop a lot more, whereas there's too many whites. Oh, there we go, waypoint. So we're just going to continue on a little bit. Gotta spend a point. So what you can do is, if you want to continue on towards a dexterity route for more damage, you can do so, but you always have the option of 3 life nodes here. Obviously going this way is kind of pointless as swords, and we're not using swords, we don't use shields. There are more life nodes up this way, and of course, if I am correct, yep, more bow ones this way, but we're not going to go that direction first. Because we are in the normal mode, we'll pick these life nodes up a little later, and we'll just go for the dexterity one first. But in the hardcore mode, you probably want to go the 8% life nodes first, and then continue on to the dexterity nodes. But of course, if you've been fortunate and you've managed to pick up relatively good gear, and you feel that you have sufficient amounts of life, you can still go ahead and take the dexterity nodes. After all, it is normal mode, even though it is a hardcore league, so it's not going to be that challenging just yet. I just usually like to build straight into the final build that I'm going to use as I go, rather than go back and piece it up later on. But for this, we'll just for this time we will piece it later on. As you can see, the combination's really nice when you combine those 3 AoE abilities. Everything dies quite quickly. Except for that guy. He did not want to die. The ledge. The ledge is one of those maps where it's a straightforward line. You can't really get lost. So it's just a matter of following the line, kill everything along the way. Oh, we're really not getting any decent loot at all. There's a chest. Come on, chest. Give me something. Fuck you too, then. Some orbs. Orbs are probably the most important thing, so we can't particularly complain about that, I guess. In the higher levels, a lot of people sort of trade the regal orbs, chaos orbs and such, so the likes of orbs of alteration and such aren't that important. They're still nice because you'll need them later on, but... And we have a mini-boss again. However, this mini-boss does not particularly do anything. Just sort of... Oh, shit. It's a good thing we weren't in heroic then. That was kind of bad. Huh. That is a bad mistake on my part. Well, I guess we're here, we might as well. Nah, we got nothing to sell. It's lucky we actually got that waypoint. Talk about embarrassing. So that's, as you can see, even though you are in normal mode, you still gotta watch your health bar. If you're not paying attention, it can cost you. And if you do that in hardcore mode, well, needless to say, it will be quite disappointing. Of course, unlike Diablo and such, if you die in the hardcore league, you don't permanently lose your character. You do just get moved to the default league, which is still highly disappointing. Oh man. Okay, I think he's actually summoning mobs. So. Okay, here we go. Take that, false god, you son of a bitch. You made me die. And that's over. Back to the normal routine. Just quickly make a check up this way. It's probably a dead end. Yep. Okay, we should be relatively close to the next part now. Even though there's a shortage of loot, at least we're getting plenty of chests. Ooh! Well, that's interesting. I've never actually seen that one before. Huh. That is very interesting. Okay, so we are at the next part, the rocky climb. Which is essentially the same as the ledge. However, it is not a straightforward path. It is a sort of larger map that you gotta work your way around. And of course you have these new mobs to fight against, which are annoying as fuck because they leap at you. Damn you, goat shaman, damn you.
As the prey grows more fierce,
As you see, you level
so
relatively quick. At this point of the game, obviously it'll slow down when you get to higher levels, but plenty of chests as always, and no loot. Thank you, RNG. As you can see, these particular wolf dog things, Hellions they're called, the normal ones don't explode, but these little flame ones explode, so you need to be careful of those. In normal mode they don't particularly do that much damage, but if you get a pack of them, you need to be careful. And of course in the cruel and merciless modes, you'll need to be very careful of not standing in their AoE when they die. My chest. Wow, we're really getting no loot at all. Oh, nice.
My mana is gone.
So as you can see, the map is a little bit bigger. We just go wander around. What level is it? Yeah, it's level 8. What are we? 10. Yeah, we're... Oh, shit. It's always good to get the shamans done first. They're the ones that actually hit a little bit harder than the standard goatmen. I've never understood the concept behind some of the mobs. Goatmen, essentially when you think of goatmen you would think that they would be wearing fur. Well, not wearing fur, but actually having fur. So why are they resistant to fire? You think that they would catch on fire a lot easier since they had fur, but I guess not. Relatively unusual. Then again, the Hellions technically are on fire as well. So we find another waypoint which will actually help when we decide to come back. If we decide to come back, or if we should die like a moron again. And we finally get loot that is not white. As you can see, this boss, or mini-boss, essentially mirrors. Well, it doesn't mirror, but essentially is a ranger, so he just keeps raining arrows down on you, which is kind of annoying at times. There we go. And we finally got some loot that might actually be useful. Yeah, let's change you for that. Yeah, we'll pass on that. So onward we go.
My mana is gone.
Apologies, man. Map. There we go. So now we enter the next part, which is the lower prison. There are, as far as I'm aware, 2 or 3 layers to this prison, but that will actually be it. At the end of this prison there is a sort of one of the final bosses of the act. There is 2 more bosses to go. However, we will actually be doing that in the upcoming part of the Let's Play. Once again, thank you for watching, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, where we will be giving away beta keys and such, and other keys. At the moment we are giving away Dota 2 keys, and we will have other competitions and of course updates of when every new video is released. Thanks for watching.